incompetently our country is being run. I'm extremely angry and upset about it. I think it's ridiculous. And, you know, believe it or not, it's Make America Great Again. It's really mine as a campaign of hope and future. But when you look at this Iran deal where we're giving $150 billion, we get nothing, we don't even get our prisoners back. And then you see the way they treat us with guns pointed at these young sailors' heads. And they only let them go, by the way, Aaron, just so you understand, to get the $100 billion that's due over the next week. Otherwise, you would have never gotten them back, unless I was president, by the way. So, I mean, yeah, I'm angry, to use the term. I'm angry at the way the country is being run and by the way it's by the results that we have. We don't have victories anymore.
So are you comfortable with what she said? I mean, you know, you heard her. She said, resist the temptation of listening to the angry voices. She said, talking about immigration, no one who has worked hard should feel unwelcome in this country. And she said she is referring specifically to you. She has denounced your temporary ban on Muslims that you've proposed.
Well, I said she's referring to me and other people, she said, but I don't care. Let her refer to me. That's fine. As far as I'm concerned, anger is okay. Anger and energy is what this country needs. And I won't be angry for long. If I become president, we're going to start having great victories, and we're going to beat China in trade, and we're going to beat other countries in trade, and we're going to have borders, and we're going to have good health care, not Obamacare, which is going up 25, 35, and 45%. And people can't afford it. We're going to do some great things, and the anger will totally subsist, and it'll be gone very quickly. As far as Nikki Haley's concerned, I like her. She comes to my office asking me for campaign contributions before I was a candidate, and very substantial contributions. She was very aggressive, I will tell you that. But I like her. She's a very nice woman, but she's very weak on the subject of illegal immigration. And, you know, that's not something that I care for in terms of somebody's attitude. She's very, very weak on illegal immigration, and that's no good with me.
So, you know, you talked about her coming to you and, as you just said, asking for substantial amounts of money. She's responded to that, and here's what she said.
You know, when I say it about my other friends that are running for president, they don't throw stones. And so what I would say to Mr. Trump is, don't take it personally. This is just something that we learned in South Carolina that I'm passing along. Take it if you want, and don't take it if you don't. But I think our country will be better if we take it.
And you say, Mr. Trump?
Well, I don't know what she means by take it. Does she mean by taking the campaign contribution? It's almost the way that was worded.
Taking her criticism of you. Taking her criticism.
I can take criticism better than anybody, but she said it was addressed at me, and my response is, and I think you heard me say, I think she's a very nice woman, but she's weak on the subject of illegal immigration, and it's a big problem. You have people coming in from Syria. We have no idea where they're from, who they are. It could be a Trojan horse. It could be a disaster. Take a look at what's happening in Brussels. Take a look at what's happening in Germany. Take a look at what's happening all over. I mean, you know, are we going to take a look at Paris? I mean, there's a good one for you to take a look at. And I'm not just talking about the attack. I'm talking about the Parisian way of life. It's a whole different place. And we have to find out there's tremendous anger out there and hatred. There's tremendous hatred of us. And we have to find out what's at the bottom of it, or we're never going to be able to solve the problem, Aaron. So I have nothing at all against Nikki Haley. I will say that she has been to my office on a number of occasions and, you know, campaign contributions, and I have no problem with that. But, you know, I do think that it's something that can be told. But I don't like her stance on illegal immigration.
So are you all right with her speech then? I mean, you know, she's considered a rising star in your party. She was handpicked by the leadership to deliver that primetime response to the president. A Nikki Haley advisor tells Ardana Bash that they took a look at the speech before she delivered it. They read the whole thing. They didn't make any changes. You know, are you okay with that?
Well, they have to do what they have to do. Aaron, they have to do what they have to do. I'm leading by a tremendous amount nationally. I'm leading in every state, including actually Iowa, you know, if you look at the recent polls. But I'm leading in every state. I'm leading nationally by very, very large numbers. I'm leading in South Carolina, incredible people in South Carolina, and I'm leading by a tremendous amount. And I have a great relationship with the people in South Carolina, and I think that they would agree with me more than they would agree with Nikki. But, you know, she can, you know, I'm not going to tell her what to say. She's going to have to say whatever she wants. But
so Nikki Haley, is she still on a list? When you look at possible vice presidential candidates, would you still consider her to be on that list? Bottom line, would you trust her? Would you consider her?
Well, she's not doing real well right now, but I'm sure she would be somebody that would be considered. But I would say right now she's not exactly doing real well. I mean, a very important thing for me is borders and security, and she's not very strong on those subjects, and that would bother me very much.
What about Ted Cruz? You are running neck and neck in Iowa. Some polls have you ahead. Now some polls have him ahead. He has been barnstorming the state on the ground, right? This bus tour, 28 events last week alone. The candidate who usually does that on the ground, lives there basically, ends up winning that state. You've had a different strategy. Are you worried about Ted Cruz?
Well, first of all, Ted's very nervous, and he shouldn't be nervous. I don't know why. He's so worried about it. I even watch him talking about it, and you can see it. It's ridiculous. He's got to take care of a problem. He has got a problem that the Democrats will be bringing suit, saying that he wasn't born in this country, and therefore he's not eligible, essentially, to run for president. There's going to be a suit brought. Right now, there are people that are mixed. You have Lawrence Tribe, a brilliant lawyer from Harvard, that said that this is an unsettled matter.
He was a professor of Ted Cruz's.
Who was a professor of his, a very great lawyer. You have other lawyers, numerous other lawyers that have said the same things. I've read stories just over the last 24 hours in various newspapers where other people are saying the exact same thing. Now, the Republicans can't nominate somebody, assuming I think I'm going to win on my own merits, and I'm very, very far ahead. But if he ever got it, the Democrats are going to bring suit the first day. And how do you run when you have a suit like that hanging over your head? And almost as importantly, I mean, you're running for office, and you have a suit saying you can't run for office. So until the judges make that determination, now, perhaps he can go in and get a declaratory judgment, meaning go to court early, but he's got to solve that problem. That's a big problem. He was born in Canada, and in fact, he was a Canadian citizen. I guess he was a citizen of the U.S. and Canada until 15 months ago. So he's got a problem, and the Democrats are going to bring suit. So how do you have a candidate? How do we have our candidate? We say, good luck, Ted. Go out there and get it. By the way, the Democrats are saying in court, and they have brilliant lawyers saying that they're right, that you don't have the right to run. That's a problem. I don't know how he solves it. He's got to go to court and get it solved.
There are many, though, that think it's not an issue, though. He was born in Canada. He was born in Canada. I mean, 100% true, right? But a lot of people, even Republicans, say this whole conversation's absurd. I mean, I talked to Governor Kasich about it.
That. John McCain didn't say that.
Fair, John McCain didn't. But
the very highly respected governor, by the way, the very highly respected governor of Iowa didn't say that, and many other people didn't say that. And frankly, a lot of lawyers don't say that, maybe most importantly. A lot of legal scholars don't say that. And I'm not saying anything one way or the other. This was a question that was asked to me in the Washington Post. This is how I didn't start this. The Washington Post asked me a question. What do you think? Do you think he's got the right to run for president? Now, there is a large group of legal talent that thinks that to run for president, you have to be born on the land. Now, McCain was born on a military base to two people that were citizens, of the United States. He was born on a military base, and I understand that very well. And, he was able to skirt that issue, and that's fine, and I fully understand that. This is different. He was born in Canada. His
right, not a territory of the U.S. It is different than the John McCain situation, right?
Much different.
But let me play for you, Mr. Trump, what Governor Kasich had to say.
Before you play it, there's a group of people that say you have to be born on the land.
Yes, there are, and that's what some of those constitutional scholars are saying. Look, it's a fair point.
We're not going to know until it's tested, but how can you have it tested if you're running for office?
All right, let me play for you, though, what Governor Kasich had to say, because as you know, there are a lot of people who agree with what you're about to hear. Here he is.
I don't have time for whether, Ted Cruz is, an American or whatever. I'm not interested, to tell you the truth, Aaron. We have too many problems to be picking at that. That lowers the debate and lowers the discussion, and I'm not for doing that.
What do you say to that, Mr. Trump? Right? I mean, I know you're saying you were asked the question, you didn't bring it up, but you just brought it up again to me. You're bringing it up. Okay.
I agree with it 100%, but the Democrats don't. They're going to bring a lawsuit. They've already said they're going to bring a lawsuit. So they're going to bring a lawsuit, and we'd have somebody potentially running for president who people don't even know if he's allowed to run for president. I don't like it as an issue. Again, this was brought to me as a question from the Washington Post. And in an article in the Washington Post, a number of top legal scholars have stated that he doesn't have the right to run. So how can the Republicans put up a candidate that may not have the right to run? In other words, there's a question as to whether or not he has the right to run. It's a big question.
You do like bringing it up, though. I mean, I'll give you that other people are saying it's a serious issue, but you are, shall I say, stirring the pot.
Excuse me, I don't bring it up. Who asked me the question? I didn't bring this up to you. You brought it up to me, Aaron. I'm doing an interview with you by phone, and your question was this. I didn't bring this up. I wouldn't have brought it up. You brought it up to me just now.
Well, I brought up, was Ted Cruz nervous about Iowa, and you brought this up.
Ted Cruz, he's very nervous. I watch him. He's very nervous. He can't answer the question because there is no answer to the question because nobody knows. It's an unsettled matter. As Lawrence Tribe of Harvard would say, it's an unsettled matter, and as many other people would say. Some people go further than that. They say he doesn't have the right to run.
Out front next, Donald Trump on Hillary Clinton and the charges of sexism. Our conversation continues. You'll hear it. Plus, Bernie Sanders now leading Hillary Clinton in Iowa and New Hampshire. And now Donald Trump on his battle with the Clintons. Trump has said Hillary Clinton was an enabler of her husband's sexual improprieties. Well, our Allison Camerata spoke with Hillary Clinton last night and asked her about that. Let me play that first.
I have no response. I'm going to let him say whatever he wants to say. He can run his campaign however he wishes.
Well, in my interview with Donald Trump, which just finished moments ago, I asked him what he thought about the fact that Hillary Clinton refused to respond to him.
Well, this all began when she said that I had a penchant for sexism. And that was a statement. First of all, I have tremendous respect for women. I mean, I will do more for women than Hillary will ever do. So when she said that, I was very offended by it, and I said what I said, and I guess it got picked up a little bit more than they would have anticipated. But, you know, in the last debate with the Democrats, my name was mentioned 9 times. Not one other candidate was mentioned on the Republican side. And mine was mentioned, Aaron, 9 times. So, you know, if she's not going to comment, I think that's a wise thing because it's hard for her to comment on this subject. This is not a good subject for her.
And so you think this is going to continue to be an issue and a fair issue for her?
I hope not. I hope it's not going to be. But she's the one that started it. I hope it's not going to be. I'm not looking to make it that way. It's a little like Ted. I mean, people bring it up to me. I'm not bringing it up. But, you know, I hope it's not going to be an issue, but it may be. It depends.
You know, I want to ask you about Powerball. You have said that if you won, you'd give the Powerball winnings to vets. Hillary Clinton was asked about Powerball this morning with George Stephanopoulos, and I wanted to play for you the exchange.
Okay.
Before we go, you buy a Powerball ticket?
I did.
And if you win?
Well, I'll fund my campaign.
All right, so the $1.5 billion jackpot, so I guess what's that get her? $900 million, she's got to pay taxes, right? Does that change the game for Clinton? What do you say?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with her. I've been watching her, but I would give my money to the vets, and she would give hers to herself. And I think that maybe shows the difference between the two people.
And one question before we go, Mr. Trump. There's a white nationalist super PAC. They say they've started a robocall campaign in Iowa. It urges voters to vote for you because of your proposed temporary ban on Muslims. And I wanted to play for you a brief clip from the robocall. Here it is.
We don't need Muslims. We need smart, well-educated white people who will assimilate to our culture. Vote Trump.
Mr. Trump, when you hear that, does that shock you? Do you denounce that?
Nothing in this country shocks me. I would disavow it, but nothing in this country shocks me. People are angry. They're angry at what's going on. They're angry at the border. They're angry at the crime. They're angry at people coming in and shooting Kate in the back in California, in San Francisco. They're angry when Jamil Shaw is shot in the face by an illegal immigrant. They're angry when the woman, the veteran, 65 years old, is raped, sodomized, and killed by an illegal immigrant. And they're very angry about it. And by the way, and thousands of other cases like that, they're very angry about it. So I would disavow that. But I will tell you, people are extremely angry.
People are extremely angry. But to be clear, when he says we need smart, well-educated white people to assimilate to our culture, vote Trump, you're saying you disavow that, you do denounce that.